Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to show and tell number 234. So it has once again just been another insanely busy week with life in general. So I am recording this Wednesday, the 7th, August 7th, 2024. I am getting the house ready for Troy to be here alone for 48 hours. And I've got to start getting like my bag and everything ready to go to the Southern Comforts Fiber Market, August 9th and 10th. So I've got a lot of prep work to do, a lot of random things to do. So I really... When it comes to next week's content, I'm not sure how I'm going to upload things and what order I'm going to upload things. So we're just going to play this by ear because I have a plan to do this slightly differently than I have done previous years' fiber market. So hopefully my plans work out. Hopefully I have time over the next 48 hours to do some research before I get there, because I do definitely have some things I want to do. Hurricane Debbie was supposed to be slamming us, but right now it's bright and sunny outside. So it's still saying we're expecting 10 inches of rain on the local forecast, but like weather.com is saying, nah, we're going to have some smattering of showers. So I don't know what to expect. Troy and I keep going back and forth as to who's right. And it's like, I mean, I'm looking at the radar and there's nothing on it. Right now it's bright and sunny and beautiful. I may actually try to like take a dip in the pool or something this afternoon if it stays like this for a little while longer. So it's like, I don't know what to say. But I did get some decent crafting time in this week. I'm pretty excited. I also got to watch some new content. I keep sharing with you guys the new to me channel, like Jen Likes Yarn, Wyoming Knits. I have not shared Mama Jess, but Mama Jess is awfully awesome. I am enjoying listening to her talk about her format for how she knits socks during the year for everybody, which is just mind-blowing. But I do have a new one for you guys that it's kind of funny. I have seen her in other groups on Facebook. Had no idea she had a channel, but Anne over at Happy Little Yarn is a new one for me. And not only that, but she makes bags, and I will try to remember to tag the right video in the description box down below. If not, go through her last couple videos. But she has some epic knitted jack-o'-lantern fabric that she is starting to make bags with now. So just saying, I wanted to shout her out because you guys know how I love the Halloween, and I know how many of you guys love the Halloween, and knitted jack-o'-lanterns does sound pretty awesome for a project bag. So just saying. Speaking of new to me channels and Wyoming Knits, I did finally finish my pineapple socks based on, or inspired by, Jenny Lee at Wyoming Knits usage of this pattern with this yarn. So these are the Minecraft socks. I will have a link in the description box down below. And this is using a yarnable yarn named Straighten Your Crown. And this is Cascade Heritage in Jasmine Green for the top. So I did actually finish these off yesterday while I was sitting here all snuggled up watching the rain come down. It did rain substantially yesterday. I did a rounded toe, worked these two at a time from the toe up, and I did my normal bind off up here, which is not Jenny's surprisingly stretchy. It's knit two together through the back, those two together through the back loop, knit one, knit those two stitches together through the back loop, which gives me just enough stretch for what I need up here. I did 15 rows of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. So those are inspired by her socks. She did hers all in the Straighten Your Crown. I wanted to do the green to make it look a little bit more pineapple-y, but it is the Minecraft sock pattern. And somebody else on Instagram said that she saw Jenny Lee's socks as well and was like, oh, I need those too. So now there's 3 pairs of these, at least that I know of, wandering around out there because this yarn is so epic. I've told you guys over and over again, this isn't necessarily something I would have ever worn around my face, but I love hypnotic yarn. I love getting my Yarnable every month, which is what Saturday's video will be. It'll be Yarnable and ALC. But not, you know, Cheryl dyes things that are not necessarily things that I would be drawn to, but I'm in love with regardless. And I'm so glad to have come up with the perfect pattern for these because that is just such a yummy, beautiful yarn. I love the wash of green throughout here. And then we've got the tonal yellows running through there. And it's just so yummy and so beautifully dyed. You can really see the texture there. I think if I do this pattern again, I would do 72 stitches instead of 64 stitches though, just because there is a little bit in there. So I'm going to start my harvest socks. I've got 2 needles free. As I get the others, fish the other pair out of here, we'll talk about it. But I think I'm going to start the harvest stripe socks that I shared in my August summer sock camp update. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the helical rib. I'm going to do a tube sock and I'm going to go up to 72 stitches. That way I can account for my slightly wider instep without having a heel. And I might play with that a little bit more. By the way, this is where I was last week. So pretty much did the whole leg in the last week. Up next, I have my Mary Maxim Christmas socks. So last week I was right here on these. I had just turned the heel and gone back to using the Christmas yarn. These turned out magnificent. I did do a little finagling to make sure that the striping all matched, but turned out perfect. I didn't have to cut anything. I was only like 3 or 4 stitches off, so I just added in the yarn at the appropriate spot to do the cuff. But in my notes, I went ahead, I took out all the extra markers here and just left the Progress Keeper in there so we could see where I was last week. But according to my notes, it took me 7 walks of 3 to 5 miles, plus a day to turn the heel. And I'd worked on the cuff while I was editing, and we did something else. So I did a little bit of work here, the toe, the heel, and the cuff, but the body of the sock was done over the course of 7 3 to 5 mile walks here in the neighborhood. So these were my walking socks. Now my meadow stripe socks will be the next pair of walking socks. I haven't really made any progress. I only did 1 walk with those last week. So I've got like this much of the foot done. It wasn't worth bringing those up to share with you guys. So I just went ahead and left those downstairs. But those are my new walking socks. Those will be ankle socks, I believe. So I think what I'll do is I'll do the entire foot, the heel, and then I'm going to try to reverse engineer the short row turned over cuff for another pair of socks. So we're going to play with that. But I do know I want to do my harvest socks next as walking socks. So yeah. So on to WIPs and where we are. Oh, this is how much of the straighten your crown I had left over. So I can pop that in my Yarnable box. Let me know what you guys think of the sound. I did finally get a microphone, mostly because I know I'm going to need it next week or this weekend. So let me know what you guys think of it. I'm hoping this turns out okay. I really would hate to have to refilm everything after filming an entire video. I probably should have done a mic check. I like to live dangerous. Other people don't swatch sweaters. I don't do a mic test. So these are my Atomic Hermione socks, or Hermione Everyday, using Hypnotic Yarn, Atomic Turquoise, and this is the Knit Pick Stroll, and it's like Violent Violet. That's what I keep calling it. I know it's a double V, but I can't really remember the name, but it's a neon violet. So these have been my car socks when I'm riding in the car. So I got that much done. I am within, I think, 6 rows of turning the heel on these. So we're getting pretty close. Like I say, week after week, it's so amazing to me, especially on camera. This is the stockinette side. This is the pattern side. But on camera, you can't really see the pattern, even though you can very clearly see it in person. You can just tell that it's patterned compared to the stockinette side. And it just cracks me up every week as I'm trying to share those, because it's like, it's just not showing up as the pattern on there. So these are still in the Spring Kittens Tea Doddles bag, mini maker bag. I will leave Christy's channel and her Etsy shop in the description box down below. Get these moved to the side, because we got lots of stuffs. New knitting project. So back at the end of winter, beginning of spring, I caked up some DK weight yarn from my Yarnables and ALCs. And told you guys I knew what I wanted to do with this, so I'd already printed the pattern and everything and had it ready to go. This is from Yarn Twisters again, and this is the Sky Shawl. So it's a semi-faded shawl pattern. I haven't made very much progress on it. This is what we got so far. It looks kind of sad. It looks like a little shark tooth right now. I am almost done with the first part, and then we change the way the increasing is done once we're increased out to the width we're going. So I'll have to think about it. This is one of those projects where I've got to remember where I am and what I'm doing. It's 2-row repeats in each section, it looks like, but I has to use some brain powers. And brain powers is not what I'm known for right now. I have been having a really bad time with my brains a-working. My only other WIP that I've really put any yarn into has been my corner-to-corner blanket. So this is using 2 DK or Sport weight scraps held double using a size J crochet hook. This is going to be a twin size corner to corner. So I've gotten almost 3.5 rows done. But this is where we are so far. I have got Gnome and Wizard Mandala. I'm still not sure what this is. It could be that like the 1 pound Lion Brand baby yarn, but I'm really not sure. I just don't remember what this was from. I don't remember using it in a project. It could have been something I caked up because the skein was getting a little funky. I also put in what I'm putting in now, along with that aqua, is the scraps from my last pair of DK weight socks. This is Mary Maxim Elements, which is 75% or 80%, one or the other, acrylic, and then the rest of it superwash wool. So I figure it's perfectly fine. It is going into a donation blanket, but as it's superwash and it's such a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of superwash wool, I figure it'll still be fine for the organization it's going to go to. So that is in one of my IKEA bins, but I only have a little bit of scrap. Oops, well, that didn't work. I only have a little bit of scrap in my bucket right now. I am getting ready to start another corner-to-corner scarf set like I finished not too long ago. So all right. So that takes us to the end of my projects. I kind of feel a little bad. That's about all I got, but it's, like I said, life just kind of lifes, and I got no choice but to accommodate it. So I have been doing some reading. I told you guys, Fantastic Land last week. So I went back to the Allison Weir for While I'm Walking, my audiobook. The Allison Weir Wives of Henry VIII series. So I had started Catherine of Aragon on my Kindle, but that is a long book. So I did finally, when I was spinning about a year and a half ago, I switched over to the audiobook format because I really wanted to finish that book. I was really enjoying it. Then I listened to the Anne Boleyn book, finished that right as we were getting ready to move last year, listened to Jane Seymour for most of the moving, packing, staging the house in Charlotte process. And then right at the tail end of that, I started Anne of Cleves. Now, I have not picked up Anna of Cleves since then. So I did just kind of jump right back into that. I did a lot of the unpacking here. I still have like 13 hours left on that, 12, 13 hours. So when I started listening to it while walking, I was not to the point she had come to England to marry Henry at that point. So, but if you like, I don't want to say factual fiction, but more fact-based historical fiction, I definitely like her books. She does sometimes go for the proofless, scandalous story instead of, like, especially with Anna of Cleves, there's a lot of stuff in there that's just not at all based in any historical evidence or fact, but it does make for an interesting story. So I get annoyed with it, but at the same time, I knew what I was getting into. But I also read her Elizabeth I book, which was pretty good. So anyway, I do have Catherine Howard and Catherine Parr's books as well. So I will continue with the series. I do want to finish the series. I think she has another book that's the, like, truth of the wives of Henry VIII. And then she's also got other stories that she's written about. She's fun to read, though. It was fun to physically read and listen to the audiobook for. The other thing I did is I floated in the pool the other day and finished the Julius House, which this is part of the Aurora Tea Garden series. I quit watching the Hallmark movies after, I think, the second one, but I really like the books. So if you're into cozy murder mysteries, I definitely recommend the Aurora Tea Garden series. They're really cute. They're kind of fun. There's a little bit of extra action in there. I'm really excited to be starting the next book because I want to know what happens after this story. Kind of left some character development spots a little out in the wide open as to how are we gonna enter into the next story. So I do already have that. I think I have the next 3 books in the series after this one. So I'll have to start scouring the used bookstores and book sites and see if I can find the rest of these. But the only other thing we've watched, well, no, I take it back. We've been watching 2 things. So we finished the 3 Body Problem season 1 on Netflix. Loved it. Definitely have some concerns. Not a very happy ending to the story. Little depressing. I wish there had been a little bit more resolution. I know it's a 3-book series, and this is basically like book 1. Once again, I have not read the books. Kind of wish there had been a little bit more resolution, especially not knowing how long it's going to take Netflix to get season 2 out to us. But definitely going to keep watching that. And then the Cobra Kai season's out. So we have begun watching Cobra Kai as well. So Johnny was robbed. It was an illegal kick. And Daniel needs to get out of his own way. Anyway, that's really like it. We just, other than trying to keep up on like news stuff and everything, like we just haven't had time to it's been constantly running around. There's something else I forgot to tell you last week, I think. No? Okay. I covered everything last week too. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you are having a wonderful, fantastic week. Please stay tuned for pictures afterwards. There will definitely be some pet tax at the end there. Come back on Saturday to see the unboxing of Yarnable and ALC. And then next week, we will do vendor shares, festival shares, as well as what I ended up actually purchasing. So I can't wait to see you guys next week. I love you. Please take care of yourselves. Bye, you guys.